Okay, so I've been getting a lot of questions about when the Digimon Story Time Stranger DLC is supposed to be releasing, so I figured I'd make a quick video talking about the release windows slated for each of the 3 DLCs and a sort of roundup of what we know about them thus far. I will touch on the Digimon that we pretty much know are coming and a few story beats that we went over in a previous video, all courtesy of the leaks, but please go check out those 2 videos if you want all the information, as the basis of this video is going to be those release windows that we do actually have, albeit with a caveat, a brief overview of what each DLC will have going on story-wise, and we'll be talking about potential future DLCs, because why not? That being said, make sure to sit back, relax, subscribe for more Digimon and monster taming content, and let's dive in. Alright, so without getting too much into the aforementioned leaks, since we already did put out a video going over the Digimon that will be present, we do know that the DLC will be broken up into 3 parts, each of which will revolve around a different group of Digimon that will be added to the game, 5 for each DLC, and presumably a 6th on the last one. The first DLC will revolve around a certain someone from the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth games, and by the looks of it, their origin as well, and is actually slated for release according to Steam within the first quarter of 2026. Similarly, the second DLC, which will be revolving around the Bancho Digimon, is also slated for release within the first quarter of 2026, which is quite interesting given that I was kind of expecting the DLC to drop 1 quarter at a time. So the first in quarter 1, the second in quarter 2, and the third in quarter 3, but it looks like the third DLC, which is going to be revolving around several X-Antibody Digimon, is slated for the second quarter of this year. Now, that being said, I have seen people touting this as an absolute fact, and one thing you have to remember is that these are just release windows and are pretty much subject to change. Interestingly, the DLC itself is promised to be releasing by September 30th of next year, which could mean that the placeholder dates are correct and things will just be moving more quickly than they expected and they kept that as sort of a buffer window. Or it could mean that while we will be getting the 3 DLCs, it's possible that the 16th Digimon, aka Parallelmon, will be distributed at a later date than the others, since it seems to be an overarching villain and not specifically tied to one of the DLCs. Once again, guys, I have 2 videos going over all the DLC information that we have thus far, but I've just been getting asked this so often, and instead of answering every single comment, I figured it'd be more convenient to just have a sort of quick explanation of what we know. So 2 DLCs seem to be coming out within the first 3 months of 2025, while the third seems to be coming out within the first half of the year, and we could potentially see something before September 30th, or that could just be a placeholder date, since it gives them just under a year to deliver season pass content after the game's release. In terms of the future beyond the DLC, I think it's quite likely we might end up seeing more, just because of how popular Time Stranger seems to be. This is obviously something that could change with time, ironically enough, as a lot of games that do get a lot of attention when they first release will slowly dwindle from there in active players, since, you know, people beat the game and this isn't a live service game, but having continuous extra content could act as a great way for people to stay invested until the next major Digimon title releases. That being said, there are a lot of different Digimon that they could add to the game, and I think that a lot of people want to see. We have a ton of potential Digimon from the various anime series like Ghost Game, Beat Break as well, and there's also Digimon from the more recent movies like Kizuna and O2 The Beginning. We did end up getting Agumon and Gabumon's bonds, however there are still Digimon like Eosmon, Ukomon, Gekakomon as I call them, and a ton of others that people wanted to see make their way into Time Stranger, not to mention the Digimon that were cut from Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. Also of note, and I could not find any information on this anywhere, so if someone does have the answer to this and wants to flame me for it, go ahead, but there is a really strange scene at the bottom of the sewers in Central Town while the enemies have taken over, and there's a Gundramon that you can actually challenge to fight, but no matter what you do, he'll basically say you're not ready. So we could potentially see something to do with that as well, unless it's some sort of like deep-seated Easter egg that I'm not privy to. Then I'm just stupid, but this wouldn't likely relate to any sort of DLC Digimon being added, but perhaps a story beat of sorts. I'm very excited to see what Digimon Story Time Stranger and the Digimon franchise as a whole have in store for us, and I really hope that you guys are too. Like I've said before, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on all the Digimon stuff, but subscribe too for monster taming content. This is an entire genre. It's not just Digimon. There's so many monster taming games that are amazing, and my job on this platform is to spread the word. So join the community, check out my channel memberships if you want to get videos early, and special thanks to our supporters, especially Candy Marunci, Tragsoft, Valorware, Nemo, and Wrathful Beast, and we'll see you next time. Peace.